I would probably been stabbed like 12 times down here. You know, my face, 50 stitches in my face, head shot at, like it got bad. I'm lucky to be breathing, I'm lucky to be alive. Very blessed.
I've seen Kevin struggle, and I think that he doesn't give himself enough credit sometimes for how far he's come and the inspiration that he's created for so many people.
Kevin's just such a kind person, and he makes everyone feel comfortable and happy. Doesn't matter where you're from, where you live, he has no judgment.
I think I've literally been fighting my whole entire life. That's how it kind of feels, even still to this day. I mean, I started smoking cigarettes and smoking marijuana when I was probably 10. But by the time I was 13 years old was the first time I put cocaine or crack into my system. And I remember when I took that first substance, that crack, and I blew the smoke, and I remember how I felt. And immediately what came out of my mouth was, can I have more? I remember. And then I'm 50 now, so that's a long time ago. So a few times I'd come down here, I'd buy drugs, I'd leave. And one time I just basically came down here to buy drugs and never left. I always lived in guilt. You know what I mean? People had this nickname for me on the street. It was called high and cry, because I'd get high and I'd start crying. Because I'd be so sad that I knew I had children and a wife and I had people at home. I was so addicted to heroin, it was I couldn't leave. Don't get me wrong, you know, I'm running around, I'm getting high, I thought it was fun. So I was married to Shiloh, and we have 2 children together. Shiloh was amazing. She never, ever said a bad word about me to my children all those years. She just told them I was sick.
After over 20 years of addiction, a decade of homelessness, and a stint in a federal penitentiary for drug dealing, Kevin was offered one last chance, a stay at the Salvation Army's Harbor Light Intake Program. It was there that he realized he wanted to stop taking drugs, and where he received an unexpected surprise.
I had gotten a call from the front desk saying, hey, there's a message for you at the front desk. And I went down there and it was from Kevin and Shiloh. And it was, hey, give us a call. And I called, and that journey began with them again. I think we were together as about 8 or 9 years. And we just lived like a little family, you know? It's just what I wanted was to make sure Kevin was okay. I think it was 2017, she was fainting. They did some scans and they found some cloudy matter in the brain scan. And within 3 weeks, we found out she had a very terminal brain cancer. She literally died probably maybe 8 months after that. So, oh man, fuck. Oh man. Oh man. It was so hard. I mean, I can't even explain to you how hard it is to watch somebody go through that. And honestly, the whole time she was sick, I never thought about using it once. I knew wasn't the solution. I couldn't do that to Kevin. Nico couldn't do that to them.
So I met Kevin in 2017, and I just found him to be a super humble, strong man who's been through a lot in his life.
So me and Amy got married in 2019 at the end of the year. And then Julian was born about 6 months before that. So we have Julian, who's now almost 5. And then we had Christian right after, 13 months after. So now now I have 4 boys. But I have an opportunity now to do things differently with these kids. They don't ever have to see me like that. And God willing, they'll never see me like that. Life is so good and so precious. And so I don't take anything for granted. The relationship that my 4 boys have, when I see them together, I can't even control my emotions.
Kevin has led the way for hundreds to follow in his footsteps of recovery. He shares his story to help others and advocate for harm reduction, as well as diversity and inclusion for Black folks in the community, and now works supporting peers in the downtown East Side with supportive employment and wraparound supports.
I've been a part of a recovery community, different 12-step groups for years and years and years, and I moved into doing supportive housing harm reduction work probably 11 years ago, and that's my main focus. What our business does is we'll go and consult for folks, right? Like nonprofits or different organizations will call us in and they'll want to know about harm reduction practices, you know, from a cultural safety lens, and I can do that around, you know, with people of color. It all feels like all that suffering and all that hard stuff that I went through is now worth it, you know? It's made me strong, you know, it's made me learn a lot, and I'm able to share that with people so they can maybe help folks along the way as we're trying to do.
When we walk around downtown, there's so many people that still know him from when he was downtown, and they all give hugs and high fives, and it's just super cool. And I just love how he connects with our community.
I think that like his courage comes from being in the darkest places. I love him to pieces, and I'm grateful to be alongside him.